All right, y'all. I got a topic I just wanted to bring up, right? Can you hold a grudge and not be mad? Can you have, can you be mad and not hold a grudge? But I always feel like, me personally, I never really was like built to hold grudges. I mean, my idea is to get even. So, not necessarily like I used to think, but more so just getting back whatever I lost. So like, if it's gonna put me in a bad spot at this time in my life, I'm just gonna I'm gonna go about it a different way. So if somebody steal from me, I just work harder. If somebody try to tear me down, I just build myself up. If somebody try to, if somebody feels like they're accomplishing more, I just go after what I want to do more. Like, it's not anything else I feel like I'm focusing on but what I can control. Like, I'm not trying to take what somebody else have, and I'm not trying to go after something that I don't want. I'm just trying to make it translate it into positive motivation for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because positive motivation is easy to take what that person is giving you, but the negativity can be motivation when you know how to look at it, when you know why that person don't want you to accomplish what you're doing, when you know why that person stole from you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I give myself different perspectives so that I can go after what I want to go after. I'm not trying to be stuck in a place where how I feel determines how I operate. That's that's like a roller coaster. I want to be kind of level, and the only way you can be consistent is if there's stability. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's not none, and you still have to be consistent. Like, when you think about athletes and how they got to perform at a high level, but sometimes they're suffering with injuries, dealing with things off the field. Like, you want somebody that has 16 sacks and his mother just died. Like, but it's all about production. And for some people, they're able to take those negative things and put it into positivity. That's why I like sports, because you would always hear tragedies turning into something for a team or a player to galvanize this feeling to be able to accomplish more. Like that championship Jordan got when his dad died, man, like, or when Isaiah Thomas played when his sister died, or when the whole NBA came out in the All-Star game after Kobe died, and the whole season basically for the Lakers was like dedicated to Kobe. Like, even low key, like, people don't even peep, like, Vanessa, Kobe's wife, she called his funeral a ceremony of celebration to celebrate the life that he lived. And you know what I'm saying? It just reminded me of what he saw in her, like what attracted him to her. Like, it was at that moment that I realized what Kobe saw and what he was in love with his entire career with that woman. Because I just be like, you always see athletes married to people, and you be like, how they get together? But then when you see Kobe's story with his wife, and then you see the the things that him and her went through, and then you see her talk about him at the funeral. You know what I'm saying? It was just it was just powerful to see such a strong woman. Like, you know, so many would have been broken in tears to do what she was doing, and she was able to, like, stand there and talk to people about some of the most special moments of her life with that man. And it showed strong power. Even the way she was expressing herself, and the words she was picking was just pure strength. Like, that's all I saw in that. And it reminded me of Kobe. Like, and me personally, I'm going through a divorce right now. We not even together no more, doing completely separate things. And I just realized that if I was going to pick another person, that person, I want them to think like that. I want them to be like a chess type mentality where there ain't no problem on the board that you gonna sit there and stress about, or sit there and sob about, or sit there and complain about, or sit there and get mad about, because at the end of the day, you done seen all of these moves happen. You know what to expect, you know what to do in every move. Like, and for some people, life is super stressful because there is no way of, like, there. I mean, I don't know how most people learn chess, but I was kind of taught. So it's not like, sometimes you need people to teach you life, and that's what it really don't. You don't have no manual in life, and if you didn't have parents that really was like, you know what I mean, this is dumb, this is smart, and the real key to being a good teacher or being able to give somebody tips on life is being able to be relatable. You can't be unrelatable and expect people to take what you're saying and say, oh yeah, that makes sense for me. If you can't take, like, that's why I always use a lot of expressions, because I put them in general senses so that people can say, oh well, you know what, I don't know what he's really trying to say, but when he put it like that, I get it. That makes a lot of sense. You know, so, and that's the reason why, like, I try to do it that way, because for people that read the Bible, Jesus used to do that all the time. He used to use illustrations and metaphors and things to make people think. And the thing I like about that is because while a lot of people criticize rap, when it's done at its purest form, that's exactly what it, rap, hip hop, that's exactly what it's like. Like, you got people taking words and using them in ways that make you think about it. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I like about life. Like, everybody, like, you can hear somebody talk about the same topic on 30 different songs, on 30 different beats, and at the end of the day, they could all be talking about the same thing, and each person will convey that idea, that topic, a different way. And that's life. Like, where we see things the same, we see them all different. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's just like anything. Like, you show somebody an Eagles wallet, and one person a Cowboys fan, they like, ugh, that's an ugly ass wallet. And then you show another person who's the Eagles fan, and they like, yo, that's a nice wallet, that joint tough. And you show somebody who doesn't care either way, and they like, okay, it's a wallet. Like, what you showing me that for? You know what I'm saying? So, like, everything isn't always gonna be able to be fully felt. Like, some people ain't gonna always understand where you're coming from. People ain't always gonna know what you're trying to say and what things mean to you that you're hoping they get. Like, so a lot of relationships are falling apart today because communication has literally gone to literally texting. More people are willing to say what they want to say over text message than they are willing to pick up a phone call. That's the reason why you see a lot of people, they get into these beefs and they run into Twitter and Facebook to go say what they want to say, because nobody talks face to face no more. Nobody talks to each other. And even if you're doing it like FaceTime, like if I was FaceTiming whoever's watching this, if I'm talking to you, like, this is about the most, it's just about what I say to you. But, that's why a lot of things get physical face to face, because those emotions, I mean, just like if a person hung up on you, those emotions are, you got to be used to having difficult conversations. You got to be used to having uncomfortable things said about you. You got to be used to hearing criticism, to be able to take it and to be able to gracefully use what the person is telling you and make it a better situation for the relationship. Too many times we get into arguments, or even when a person is having a conversation with the person and people are getting offended or really not responding to it because they're getting in their feelings and feeling targeted and stuff like that, because they're not used to those difficult conversations. You can see it in almost every avenue of life. You got NBA players, or you got NBA players who don't know really, or even NFL players who don't really know how to take hard coaching, because that generation, nobody really talks to nobody no more. They texting their mom, they texting their dad, they texting their mom upstairs, they texting their dad downstairs, like texting their brothers and sisters in the house. So there's no real tough conversations face to face. So then when you got somebody coaching you and they yelling at you, and mind you, some of these people that's coaching you is in a different generation. Like, you know what I mean? Nowadays, probably coaches gotta text their players, stuff like this. But you know what I mean? It's just a different way of going about things. And when you don't have that constant communication, you don't really know how to handle it. You don't know how to do it. A lot of people, that's not even just with having difficult conversations or having somebody criticize them. It could be in just the simplest way of just expressing yourself. Like you got men and women these days that you ask them how they feel about something, they don't even know what to tell you. They don't even know how to tell you how they feel about something. And then don't even ask them about something that's extremely difficult to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Some people have come to peace with their things, and I'm not saying this is a general stance all the way across the board. What I'm saying is the majority, or a lot of people these days, because of the way things are operating, there's no real way of learning how to communicate. Then you think about the pandemic. I heard somebody say something crazy, how, with the mask covering over people's mouths, a lot of babies are having to take a step back because they use their eyes to watch your mouth to learn how to speak. So when a lot of people are wearing masks and everything, it doesn't allow the child to see how the words are formed with your lips. So I just say all that to say, like, it's so many ways that things affect other things, and they slowly make things either better or worse. So while you'll be able to talk to people across the world and do things with it puts people in a situation where those people that are not, like, it used to be a time where there was still homeschooling, but the socializing was a more abundant. People were socializing more abundant, and it makes it more better when people can socialize with each other. So social media created that, right? But they took social media and then made it a place where you can make and create dissension and like even what Donald Trump was doing, like while you able to connect with a lot of people, you still forcing a lot of people to dislike each other. You're creating animosity on sides that, I mean, it's just like it's just a pro and a con with everything. So while it's able to do good, it's able to do bad too. So it's all about a person's mindset, and you find that out with everything in this life. Like, you can have somebody take something that has no harm to anybody and turn it into something that's damaging. And you know what I'm saying? It's just how you want to go about things that put you on which side you want to be on. And me personally, I want to be on the side that consistently helps things grow, gravitate, get better. Like, I got kids, so I can't see myself not thinking about what that means for them. Like, people always say, like, oh, well, it's not no big deal. My kids won't be affected by it. But to some extent, they will be. Like, especially if you think like that. It's just no other way around it. You know what I'm saying? And the messages we give to our kids, like, so many parents want their kids to be like them, and it doesn't allow the kid to really experience life. You know what I mean? When you had your one experience, that's just like people saying, oh, like, I'm like, people that want their kids to be like them, realize this, that you were once telling somebody else, that's you, that's you, that's you, that's not me, that's not me, that's you, that's what you want to do, that's not me. You was once telling somebody that. So when you want your kids to be like you, do things like you got to understand that that's a small, like, even for them to be like, like, I want my daughter to think like me. Like, it's cool when your kids relate to you and you can talk to them about things and they get it, but Like, true love means that you want to know what that person like. You ain't getting in relationships. Like, some people are solely looking for people just like them. Make it easier for them to enjoy life, so they think. But my thing is, I learned so much from different people. I learned so much from people that weren't like me in relationships that it made me understand who I was even more. Because the situations that I didn't like, or the situations that I thought I didn't like, I learned I can deal with them, or they're not as bad, or I actually do like them. And then situations that I thought I liked, I realized that I like them more. I like them if I did them this way, because you learn so many different things because you're spending so much time with different people. The way they think, the way they go about things. Everybody has a method to what they do. So when you, like, just like if you go to work, somebody can be doing the same job as you. You go to a different place, they doing it a different way. They doing it a different way. Work at one Walmart, work at another Walmart, they do things differently. Something is different. And that's just like with a relationship. You can't walk in there and be like, oh, Walmart, what the fuck, man? Y'all got all this stuff in the back, like your back room. Like, no, like, that don't matter. You got to get used to you got to go with the program. And if you're going to find any success anywhere, you got to be adaptable. And a lot of people just want to live in this comfort zone that they have been accustomed to. Your comfort zone when you was born wasn't even a comfort zone. You were adapting as a baby. Like, you just didn't know it. And then you get to a point where you no longer want to adapt. You no longer want to adapt. And I'm going to tell you why you was adapting when you was a baby. Because when you was born, you didn't have a language. You didn't have a language. You didn't have an accent. You didn't have a set of traits, tendencies. You didn't have habits. You didn't have anything. You adapted to your environment, and most of the things that you learn and the way you walk, talk, it has a lot to do with where you are. You were adapting the entire time. You were taking it and making it a part of yourself. So when you tell somebody that this is who I am, you could have been anything if you put your mind to it. You could have been anywhere if you went there. You would have been a totally different person if you grew up somewhere else. That's why you find out, like, when people travel the world, they sound more well-rounded, because those experiences help ground them into understanding that the way I grew up in Philadelphia, a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, two brothers, two sisters, that's my life. That you can take that same situation, minus the Philadelphia, and put that somewhere else, and I would have been a completely different person. And if you'd have put that somewhere else, that person and that person would have been a completely different person. People always assume that, a part of you is you, but a lot of the things that you do is only because of your exposure. Exposure leads to expansion. You can't expand your mind if you stay in one box. That's like thinking that you're going to find the answers to. That's like expecting that if you search your entire room for your lost cell phone, that you're going to find it there if it's not there. That's why a lot of people stay stuck in the situation that they're in, because especially as black people, the community that some of us live in, there isn't almost nothing for you to really build on. So if you don't really try to experience more, then you're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck. And that could go with anybody in any neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? You need that exposure. Rich people aren't traveling the world because they rich. Like, yeah, I'm rich. I don't need to travel. Good. I don't need to see Israel. I don't need to see Africa. I don't want to go to Paris. I mean, I'm rich. What's the point? That's why you're traveling, to see, experience life. You want more money so you can travel, see, experience life, to be able to enjoy life. That is the only reason we need monetary money, so that we can see, experience life. Like, unfortunately, money became an equation, but this is what it was like when it first started. See, experience life, reproduce. Now things are coming down to it where it's like, make a lot of money and feel good that you don't have no kids. That's when he was coming like, oh yeah, bro, I don't got no kids. Like, the kids was one of the best things that happened to me. Like, through the good and the bad. Like, it's some of the people who have the best relationships. I don't know who's watching this, but if you have a very, very successful relationship, say I. Would you not say that it came with a lot of good and the bad? That good situation was a lot of smiles and sadness, right? Comes with that, right? Just part of it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you arguing and fighting about things that have nothing to do with either one of you. And people are like, oh, y'all just miserable. Like, no, it has nothing to do with either one of you. If a person is in a depression, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that they're not good together. You know what I'm saying? If they're arguing about baby mama drama or money issues, that doesn't mean they can't work together. You feel me? So a lot of times these outside situations become while inside breaks apart. And that's what you see in almost every avenue of life. I connect everything back to sports. You look at basketball. The worst way, the media plays a big part in why a player says, man, I'm out. The media, they play a big part in why a player says I'm out. Because that constant pressure of, oh, you didn't win a championship. Because I'm telling you, man, a lot of these players, they was playing on bad teams all their life. You know what I mean? Like, if they wasn't good enough to change the move the needle, they was playing on bad teams all their life. Like, and then when they get in a situation where it's so many other players that can move the needle in the NBA, then they be like, oh, no, I got bounce. But back in the day, that's why people say, oh, so you don't think you can move the needle. That's why they was mad at KD. Because they was like, what, you don't feel like you can go anywhere and move the needle? You don't think, like, bro, you was just about to be Golden State. People thought that he had low self-esteem because they was like, yo, bro, you could do whatever you wanted. But KD was on the vibe. He talked about that the day he signed. Them meeting him in the Hamptons and talking to him and trying to get him to come to Golden State was probably the first time he ever had somebody, well, no, KD's nice, so he was probably getting recruited everywhere. But from a championship team that won it, yo, bro, can you imagine? You never won a championship. You probably, like, I don't know if KD won in high school or nothing, but a team like that is recruiting you. Now, granted, you could say, okay, well, that, like you said, it's him versus him. He got to say what he want, and if he feel like he could change it. But sometimes you want to feel wanted, and at that time in life, that's what he wanted. He wanted to be wanted. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he did. So now when you look at it like, bam, he go to Brooklyn, people can't say nothing. Especially after the playoff series he just had. He ain't no Steph Curry. He ain't no Klay Thompson. He ain't had no Draymond. And that would have been easier to find than the first two I mentioned. And he ain't had neither one of them. And he was balling. Couldn't do nothing with him. People was like, yo, KD, man, he playing with Steph Curry and all them dudes. They able to. That's why nobody's able to stop him. He was playing with everybody that was missing shots in Brooklyn, bro. And he was hunting them down. He really almost got that series, bro. He really almost did. So, even with Tom Brady moving the needle, what I'm saying is you go from New England in your comfort zone, 20 years. That's what I'm telling people. Forget that comfort zone. That man said, I got the ultimate confidence in myself. I'm going to go from New England and I'm going to go all the way to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I don't know about y'all out there, but please, if you're not a Buccaneers fan, please let me know if you've ever played with the Buccaneers. Just let me know. In the comments, let me know if you've ever played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I've never played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Never. I think maybe one time to throw the ball to Mike Evans. Remember years ago when they had the two running backs. I forget the boy, D'Angelo Williams and somebody else. But I can't remember ever playing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But then Tom Brady goes there. Guess who everybody was playing with? Guess who everybody gonna be playing with this year on Madden? Guess who the toughest team on Madden gonna be? The team Tom Brady played for. You think it don't got nothing to do with him moving the needle? That's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta be able to feel like you can do that in your own life. And I'm about to explain to you what I mean by being the Tom Brady to your life. If you in a messed up situation and you got somebody in your life that is treating you so bad that you can barely get up in the morning and find happiness in yourself, be the Tom Brady and leave your Bill Belichick and go on over there to Tampa Bay where it's sunny and shining and you got your Bruce Arians. You know what I'm saying? Figuratively. Get you into your Tampa Bay situation. And what I mean is, yeah, you could have been winning championships with that person. They might be taking care of you, buying all this stuff, but they treating you like nothing. They treat you like nothing. A lot of people find that monetary thing to be more worth than anything. And Tom Brady could be like, oh man, I'm 39, I'm 40, I'm 43 now. You know, they trying to push me out the back door talking about I'm old, but I still believe in myself. I still know I can do this. I know what I can do to find a way to win a game. But if I leave, I'm leaving a team, I'm leaving a person that is able to help me win, but they don't really appreciate me. They don't really want me here, but they helping me because they just know I'm around and that's all they got at the meantime. They know I'm good, but they don't really fully appreciate me, right? Right, Tom Brady? You know how much confidence it took for a player that was on the last year probably in most quarterbacks' life, most quarterback career span to say, I'm going to bet on myself, and probably wasn't getting the offers. You know, you get single, you date, you trying to find somebody you want. No, nobody's around that you even interested in. But you believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? You believe in yourself. Then bam, a team pop up and you like, Tampa Bay. Guy, girl pop up, you like, all right. And they like, but I care about you. I really appreciate you. You doing nothing, and this person like, I appreciate you. That I care about everything you're doing for me. I never had nobody do this for me. You feeling like this is different. You know, you start changing you start feeling the whole environment changing. You getting used to it. It's a little rough patch like Tom Brady went in his first season, but it get better. So bam, you win a championship somewhere else. Your confidence goes from wherever it was to another level, because now you found happiness somewhere else, being treated even better, and you bet on yourself. That person's like, nah, you ain't gonna find nobody else better than me. You see what I do for you? You see what I do for you? Ain't nobody else gonna do this for you. You got kids. Why ain't nobody gonna want you? See? Tom Brady, what he do? You 43, ain't nobody gonna want you. You over the hill. What is you doing? What he do? Win a Super Bowl. Now, I ain't gonna say the defense ain't play a big part in it, but he bet on himself. You know what I mean? And him being the person he is brought that defense to another level. Him believing in himself made the defense believe in themselves. Him believing in himself brought players to want to come play with him. It's like, oh snap. So let me see what this dude really about. Like, I know he good, but he going down to Tampa Bay. He trying to start his own team. I mean, all right, let's see what it is. And that's what happens. That's what happens. Be the Tom Brady in your life.